Hey, welcome back to another gadget report. Let's talk gadgets, and today I'm talking about one of my favorite airlines, British Airways, of course. You know that, don't you? So I'm talking about the planning for summer, but hang on, European summer with British Airways. You know, airlines always plan ahead, and British Airways has released their calendar for their summer 2026, which for Australians would be winter. So come with me and let's see what it's on the card for British Airways. So let's talk gadgets. We know that if you are in Australia, like myself, summer is just around the corner. In fact, we are less than a month away. However, in Europe, they are now heading for winter, and summer is a long way away. But for aviation and airlines, everything happens with planning and planning ahead. That's why they usually release the calendars for certain seasons, for specific seasons when they know it's going to be high demand, in order to get the passengers booking their flights, planning ahead, and having all that offer available for them. So British Airways has announced its 2026 summer schedule. So this would be June to September, because that's summer in European countries, should I say. So every time I mention summer, don't think of Australian summer. And the airline is boosting its capacity to several household favorites for British families. So these include Bangkok, Miami, and Jamaica. In addition, to its already existing short-haul flights all around Europe, because of course those are have been there for ages and they are always in high demand. So let's start planning and let's see what British Airways has for us. And for Bangkok, I'm reading my notes because I don't want to make any mistakes here. For Bangkok, British Airways will start operating here around flights from London Gatwick to Bangkok instead of its winter options only. At the moment, there's only flights during winter. From now on, or from the European summer, they will start operating these flights all year around. So this is how it's going to be. The services will operate 3 times a week, and there will be 6 weekly flights during the winter season as well. The airline claims this is a commitment to meet its increasing Southeast Asia demand, adding an extra 60,000 passenger capacity to this route. Its partnership with Bangkok Airways will also make it easier for passengers to connect across the Pacific to Phuket, Phnom Penh, etc., etc. And we know that connections are very important. And for example, Bangkok is one of the major hubs in Asia that a lot of flights connect to either Bangkok or Singapore. And from there, you can go to other destinations in Asia or even to Australia. I know that, for example, Bangkok was my stopover for a long time in my flights with British Airways from London to Sydney. So I think they use Singapore now. They don't go through Bangkok. BA16 and BA15 do a stopover in Singapore, no longer in Bangkok. But I remember I used to stop in Bangkok. So this is the offer to Bangkok, but there's more. through Jamaica. If you would like to go to Jamaica, British Airways has you covered. So they will have an extra flight to Kingston, Jamaica, totaling a 4 weekly flights in 2026 European summer season. This will have an extra 300 passengers, so a 300 passenger capacity to that route. Now, if you are keen in visiting the US, why not? They also are, they also have some offers for you for Miami and Dallas. So BA will reintroduce, they used to have this flight and they stopped, but they will reintroduce its double daily flights to Miami, double daily, and their daily flight to Dallas Fort Worth. So that's more offer for you. And if you want to go to Vegas, why not? There will be another 3 weekly flights to Las Vegas, in total of 13 weekly flights. So a lot of options if you want to go to Vegas. And for San Diego and Austin, BA is boosting its capacity to both destinations with 14 weekly flights to each one of them. So this is what you have. To New York. Yes, you can go to New York as well, operating exclusively to JFK. So there's no other option. You'll have to fly into JFK. BA will offer 9 weekly flights on its Boeing 777-200. So, an old favorite. This is the calendar that British Airways has released. This was a while back in August, but I think I'm still on time to tell you about this. If you are in the UK or if you are in Europe, because I remember, as you know, I was living in Portugal, and you can easily get a flight into the UK from Portugal or from any other destination in Europe, and then just go and fly elsewhere. Because, as you know, for example, Heathrow is one of the major hubs in Europe. So it really, although obviously when British Airways released the press release, and I'll leave the link below so you can read it in full, when they released the press release, the information was obviously for the British market, because of course that's their market there, that's their home market. But in reality, this is an option for anyone around Europe that can get a quick flight into the UK and then from there fly to any of these destinations. So it's a very good option. I think that's one of the great things that they have in Europe is this choice, this lots of competition, lots of airlines, and they have choice. I think that's what we needed in the Australian market. For example, we needed a lot more competition, a lot more of offerings, because the more you have, the better it becomes in terms of pricing and even in terms of offerings. Because if airlines or any other company, if they have competition, they will obviously be always making an effort to be the best, to stand out, and to be chosen not just for the lower price, but also for the service, etc., etc. So I strongly believe in any industry, including my own, competition is good because it always keeps you in your toes. It always keeps you grounded and always keeps you aspiring to do better. If you have monopolies or duopolies or whatever it might be, that damages the industry itself, because one stakeholder has too much power and they may just be relaxed. I don't care, I'm too I basically own this market. I can do whatever I want, and that's not good for the market. That's not good for customers. That's not good for the industry. So I think this is great. Europe is one of those markets that have a huge competition, because basically every country has their own carrier, and that increases competition. And they have very good airlines in Europe. I would say some of the best airlines are there, and British Airways, for me, British Airways is definitely one of them. So plan your visit. Either you go to the US, either you go to Asia, wherever you want to go, Caribbean, wherever you want to go, British Airways has more on offer. If you are in the UK, you are already in the departure zone, I would say. But if you are elsewhere in Europe, just have a look. Maybe you find a good flight with a good connection for you. This was my video today about British Airways. Of course, I'm always happy to talk about them because it's one of my favorite airlines. For today, I hope you like this news about British Airways. I hope you are already planning your summer holidays if you are in Europe. Obviously, for me, summer is here, it's very hot. And I hope you really enjoyed all these offerings. I really like them. I think it's a very good opportunity to people who want to travel abroad, and gives you lots of choice. You have lots of choice. Bangkok is, in my view, one of the best destinations, because you may not stay in Thailand, or you may not plan to visit Thailand, but from Bangkok you can go everywhere around Southeast Asia. You can come to Australia, you can go to New Zealand, you can go everywhere. It's one of the major hubs in Asia, so it's a very good option for you. And then because they also have that offering to try to get you those connection flights for Southeast Asia. So British Airways have you covered. And I think that's that extra touch that sometimes makes the difference. And sometimes, and this is my view, sometimes even if you pay a little bit more, but the airline has that little touch for you, that the connections are good and you can make that connection flight and just do your trip smoothly without stressing or without spending infinity of hours in an airport, and sometimes in an airport that is not very pleasant. So this I think it's definitely a plus. And then of course you have all these destinations in the US, which is, we know, a favorite destination with a lot of people. And of course the Caribbean, Jamaica, it's good. So you are not lost for choice. You have plenty. And of course, if you have any suggestion of anything that you would like me to talk about in these gadget reports, please leave a comment below. I'll be happy to accommodate your suggestions, or if you have any questions. If you have any more flights to add to this, if you have done one of these flights, of course not these ones because they will start next year, but if you have flown British Airways to a very good travel destination, let us know what was your experience. It's always good to share experiences here, and that's the purpose of this channel, that we share and we talk about gadgets, of course. And put a like on the channel and subscribe with a little click on the bell so you get a notification of a new gadget report every week. Before I go, I would like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next week. Have a good one. Bye.